Reasons why we're glad to see Ricky Carmichael coming back this summer for one last hurrah. His championship career may have ended, but his willingness to fight still thrives. But there's also one other reason we're glad to be outdoors. That's because of newly crowned AMA Supercross champion James Stewart, the only rider to beat Carmichael in 4 years of motocross. The 2007 AMA Motocross season opener from Hangtown is next on Speed. Hi everybody, welcome to the Honda Hangtown Motocross Classic, the season opener of the AMA Toyota Motocross Championship presented by FMF. I'm Ralph Shaheen alongside multi-time national motocross champion Jeff Emig. Aaron Bates will join us as well as we drop the curtain on the outdoor season. The weather, well, it's a hot 84 degrees with plenty of sunshine to bake the packed crowd that has lined the hillsides here at the Prairie City Off-Highway Vehicle Park in Sacramento. And everybody excited because Ricky Carmichael is back on the outdoor trail. Carmichael and his Makina Suzuki ready, not going to run the entire outdoor season just like with Supercross, but Ricky is back for a few rounds. And of course, everybody excited to see how James Stewart and Ricky Carmichael will do heads up once again when they swing their legs over the bikes. Now last year here, Jeff, it was an epic battle between these two.
Well, it definitely was. We had plenty of rain. The track was sloppy. You see Carmichael actually going down with the hole shot in Moto 1.
But Chad Reed on the number 22 Yamaha took the lead away. Stewart stalls. RC had fallen all the way back to 40th. Stewart falls all the way back to 30th, and these two just came flying up through the pack on this muddy day.
Yeah, and it was an amazing day of racing, just battling every lap of the way.
At one point, Reed was 30 seconds in front, but he ends up giving up the lead to Stewart, who goes on to take the win in Moto number 1. Carmichael won Moto number 2, but Stewart took the overall. Well, they call him the GOAT, greatest of all time, and with stats like those, Jeff, there's no doubt he's earned the nickname.
Well, he definitely is the GOAT, and if you notice that last one, he will race 6 rounds this summer. He's going to ride the first 5 plus Millville.
You know, it's great. I think it's going to take a little bit. Maybe I think maybe a second moto I'll start coming around, and I'm looking forward to it. It's been a long time since, like you said, I haven't raced, and just glad to be here. I really miss the fans. That's the biggest thing I think that I've missed, and excited.
Well, what everybody's excited about is watching number 7 and number 4 go bar to bar here in at least 6 rounds of the outdoor season. It should be a lot of fun kicking off here at Hangtown, and James Stewart, boy, he's starting to pile up the stats, isn't he?
Well, he definitely has the momentum at this point. Just coming off the AMA Supercross Championship, World Supercross Champion. Got a lot of momentum going here.
So how is James preparing to battle Ricky?
You know, we always prepare. You just got to prepare differently for an outdoor national. And, you know, for me, it's one of those things, you know, it's kind of like, you know, I want to race the guy, but then, you know, I don't want to jeopardize my championship. You know, kind of when I came back in 05, you know, he wanted to race me, but, you know, I was out of the title hope. So, you know, we'll see what happens. If I get a good start, I'm definitely going to go out there and try to win. But also, like I said, I'm here to win the championship.
So Stewart already did the first half of what he set himself up for this year, and that was winning the Supercross Championship. Now he's going after the outdoors. There's Aaron Bates with a Progressive Direct pre-race report.
This is called the transponder. It's the device that the AMA uses to relay data and timing to the AMA monitors. This year, the AMA has implemented a new method of qualifying that's going to affect every single racer. First off, Saturday is now a qualifying day that gets narrowed down to the fastest 40 that transfer directly to race day. But if you're in the top 10 or a former champion, you're automatically pre-qualified to race. Now, on race day, each rider will practice 2 20-lap practices, and the fastest lap time of both practices combined will determine their gate pick. I asked manager Steve Whitelock the reasoning behind this method coming in this season, and he said it's to make sure to utilize the practices, make sure that they're more important, and it's also to filter out all the amateurs coming into the pro ranks to make sure that their conditioning is up to par to compete with these top riders in the pro ranks.
Well, I think, you know, right there with this qualifying practice, they want to get the top 40 riders in the world into these events, but it definitely makes practice really important at this point because it counts for your gate pick.
Here's our format for the Honda Hangtown Motocross Classic. 40 riders in the gate. We're going to have 2 motos, 30 minutes apiece plus 2 laps.
You got to like that shot right there of that brand new front tire. Sharp edges. Oh man, he's going to need it because the track today is one of the best tracks I've ever seen here at Hangtown, but it's going to be tough.
Here's our Suzuki starting grid. And of course, everybody going to be focused on the Carmichael Stewart battle, but no Chad Reed this year.
No Chad Reed, but what we did see here was Kyle Lewis. This is going to be his final season of racing motocross, so this is his final Hangtown.
And if you didn't know why we're not going to have Chad Reed, it's because he's decided after the Supercross season not to come play around with the outdoors this year. We'll be right back to Hangtown.
It was a world.
Speed's coverage of the 2007 AMA Toyota Motocross Championship from Sacramento is brought to you by Suzuki, maker of performance-driven motorcycles, scooters, and all-terrain vehicles. And by Progressive. Before the gremlins get you, get Progressive, #1 in motorcycle insurance. And by the all-new 2007 Tundra, the truck that's changing it all. Good look at one of the rivers that makes up the River City here in Sacramento. We're ready to drop the gate on Moto #1. James Stewart sliding into turn 1 to take the whole shot.
And it looked like Tim Ferry, the 15 on the other Cowie, was right up there also. Mike Alessi with a great start.
Look at Stewart go off the course. He's dropping way back, maybe even out of the top 10.
And that's not how you want to start the season. You get that whole shot, you stay nice and clean. Dirt Diggers have done an awesome job of preparing the course here today. It's one of the best Hangtown courses I've ever seen. But right now there's a lot of roost, a lot of water on the track. So everybody behind the #4 here, Ricky Carmichael, are going to be a little muddy after this first lap.
Ricky Carmichael has the lead. Mike Alessi on the KTM sits in second. Tim Ferry on the number 15, Stewart's teammate on the Monster Energy Kawasaki, rides in third.
So has the #4 here, has he been vacationing and hanging out with the family, or has he been working and training? I'm not sure if he's retired or not.
He's always working. Let's see what happened with Stewart.
Stewart gets a little sideways off the drop-off and misses his line, hits a huge brake and bump, gets the rear wheel off the ground, and look at that, he just keeps it inside of the banners.
While all that was going on, did you see how much speed Carmichael carried into that corner as he took the lead away from Mike Alessi there on the 800?
Well, there's no doubt that that sort of speed is what's catapulted Carmichael to 10 motocross championships, every one that he's ever entered.
Taking a look from high above here as Stewart continues to work his way back up towards the front.
And that's Akira Narita, 982 on the Yamaha, but the #7, when he went off the track, stuck back in about 8th or 10th. Hasn't been but half a lap, and he's already up into third.
You see Carmichael already starting to pull away, and Stewart doing everything he can to catch up to Mike Alessi right now. And Alessi rode the lights class in Supercross, and now he stepped up to the big bikes.
Yeah, that's an interesting decision. KTM was fully behind him on that, and he's definitely, there's no doubt that Mike Alessi's got some great motocross skills, and so does the #4 and the #7. But if I'm James Stewart, I'm feeling a little sense of urgency because I just had the whole shot, and now I just gave the greatest motocross champion of all time, I gave him an advantage by letting him by on the first lap.
Well, Stewart didn't leave much room for Alessi there, did he? He just took second place right away from him.
Very aggressive move, but Stewart, I believe, really has something to prove this season in the motocross championship, because as we take a look here of the replay, Stewart just comes up on the outside with a lot of momentum, a lot of speed, and just closes the door from the outside on Mike Alessi.
There's Davi Millsaps, currently running in 7th, the Honda factory rider. Came back from injuries late in the Supercross season, continued to gain speed throughout it, hoping to continue and get a little bit more momentum here in the outdoor season. Back to Mike Alessi, still holding down third. Jeff, the bigger, the faster the track in Supercross, the faster Alessi went. He really likes the outdoor stuff, doesn't he?
He definitely likes the outdoor stuff. And the Supercross, he was a little bit hot and cold. We've seen him have a great ride at Orlando. But right now, he's got Tim Ferry closing in on him early in the first moto. And Ferry has been extremely strong this year. Totally dialed in on the Kawasaki. And I look for a great summer out of Tim Ferry.
Watching from our Honda Skycam, the one thing you don't want to do is give Ricky Carmichael any kind of an edge, because he'll pounce all over that. And he's doing that right now, trying to open up a bit of a lead over James Stewart.
Well, you see him coming up this huge hill here. Big double into this turn, and the key is to get on the brakes, just like Carmichael did. That's the closest I've seen anybody take that turn.
Carmichael leads with Stewart, Alessi, Ferry, and Windham chasing here in Hangtown. Is the passion for two wheels in your blood? Well, now you can get all the breaking news, in-depth analysis, and more with the Motorcycle Racing Report, only at speedtv.com, keyword green, presented by Kawasaki. Watching from our onboard camera, Kyle Partridge carrying that for us. There's Tim Ferry and Kevin Windham right behind him. He's running in fifth, the first we've had a chance to spot number 14.
And right there with Windham and Ferry, both of these guys historically have been some of our greatest motocross riders, just tenacious all summer, and they just got a lot of wins between these two riders, and Mike Alessi's got the big boys right behind him.
About halfway through the Supercross season, Kevin Windham changed up things with his trainer, changed up his diet, a bunch of different things, and it has really made a difference for him. Tail end of Supercross. Oh, look at this! Down goes Carmichael! Right out of the lead. Oh, he's just going to hang on. Stewart's right alongside of him now.
And Stewart's showing a lot of patience. Didn't panic when he went down, but has got the wheel on him maybe.
Let's see what happened to Ricky Carmichael.
Just comes through. There's a little G out here coming into this turn. Pretty good holes. Oh, and he actually lost the rear tire coming in, and that tells me that he probably tried to get on the throttle a little early right here. See, he's going to hit the bumps, set down into the turn. Probably that was on braking, maybe come in a little hot, got the rear tire out and just slid over, but fortunately did not stall the engine, kept the bike going. He's still in the hunt for the lead.
And look at that, Jeff. He even started to open up a gap already over James Stewart, as you see our motocross.com field summary across the top of your screen.
Well, one of the things about motocross here, as opposed to Supercross, is that these 450 four-stroke machines put off so much roost, and the gap that Stewart was at there is just enough to stay out of the roost. That lets me know that he's not going to pressure it. He knows it's a long summer, it's a long first moto, there's still a second moto. He's going to be a little patient here and try to make the move later on.
The battle for fourth now as Kevin Windham on the number 14 Honda gets inside the KTM of Alessi and puts Mike back to fifth.
Well, I'm talking about that roost. Eventually, you want to stay out of the roost. You want to get on by the rider. And right here, Carmichael's got the lead.
Whoa! Carmichael again with a huge bobble.
Huge mistake, and just strength and fitness is how he was able to keep that bike on two wheels. Maybe a little luck involved there. But see, if I'm Stewart and I caught that, I know that, okay, Ricky might be a little bit rusty at this point. Let's take a replay. He comes in, G's out, hits a couple bumps, and the bike just totally got out of shape. Carmichael managed to keep it on there. I'm sure he's been in that position more than once in his career, and now he picks right back up and gets back on the gas.
How much of that is luck and how much of that is rider skill or strength and conditioning?
Well, Ricky's always said that the harder you work, the luckier that you are, and I think right there he definitely proved his point.
James Stewart right on his tail.
See Stewart staying to the left. A lot of roost coming off there, but both these riders very impressive at this point. So patient both of these champions are, and they've raced each other so close so many years. They know each other's strengths. They know each other's weaknesses. So they're going to let this play out here. The playing a little chess game right now.
For a guy who's been focusing on his stock car career, Ricky didn't forget much, did he?
No, it's just so amazing that he can take a break here, spend some time with the family and the new babies, have a stock car racing career, all of the media and PR time that he has to give up, and yet he still finds a way to be prepared to come out and battle in the National Motocross Championship at the very top level.
As you watch from our Honda Skycam, the motocross.com field summary at the top of your screen, Carmichael continuing to lead James Stewart here at the Honda Hangtown Classic.
And what this gives us is such a great perspective of all of the lines on the track. And motocross is so tough, and there's so much roost that comes off the bikes that riders are constantly trying to find a fast line out of the roost. So you see a lot of inside-outside lines, and from way up above there, you can definitely pick those out.
Well, as you mentioned before, the dirt diggers who prepare the Honda Hangtown Classic each year here at the Prairie City Off-Highway Vehicle Park do an outstanding job. And I can tell you, I grew up here in Sacramento. I've been to this race many, many times, and boy, they've done an outstanding job with it this year.
Well, and different than the past years, maybe the past 6 or 7 years, is that from the practice and qualifying on Saturday, typically they would just leave the track, and so when you come to practice on Sunday morning, the track's already totally destroyed. Well, this year, they worked on the track after Saturday's qualifying rounds, so they started today, Sunday morning, with a fresh track for the lights practice, and I tell you, the track is already chewed up. It's really nasty, but I think it's the best Hangtown that I've ever seen.
And a huge crowd on hand taking it all in as well as Ricky Carmichael leads James Stewart here in Moto number 1 at the Honda Hangtown Classic.
Friday, NASCAR.
Welcome back to Northern California. Sacramento, the host of the Hangtown Classic, the season opener for the outdoor season, and James Stewart making the move on Ricky Carmichael.
Nice move up the inside there. Carmichael trying to get back through on his inside, but you seen Stewart just over-jump that double coming into that bowl turn. Really aggressive. He wants that lead, and he's been taking a lot of roost here from the number 4, and he wants to get out of it. You can see him just carrying momentum on the left side. Look how far he over-jumps at, about 30 feet too far. And Carmichael doesn't do anything crazy, just says, okay, you've got the line, go ahead and take it. I'm not going to panic here. This is going to be a long day.
Stewart able to woe the bike down by the time they got to this steep bank corner. Powered away with the lead. Good look at all the lines through there, Jeff.
And you see they're starting to catch some traffic right now also, getting into some of the lapped riders. Not only does that take your line away if you get locked into one of them big long ruts, but there's also a little bit of roost coming off of their bikes. Sometimes they make mistakes and whatnot, so getting through the lapped riders is pretty important at this stage of the race.
Well, I guess now we'll find out as the white flag comes out just how far off of James Stewart is Ricky Carmichael. Is he really still in shape and all that? Because we've gone 30 minutes and we're down to the final lap. We're going to see if he's in shape.
Well, I definitely think that he's in shape, but it's you know, does he is he a little bit rusty at this point? I don't think so. He's right here on the 7. I think he's rode a very smart race. Both these riders actually have been impressed with both of them, and that both riders know that, you know, second is as good as a first at this point. It's the second motor that's really going to count.
The last time Ricky rode a Supercross was at Orlando. It's been quite a while. He's been messing around with stock cars. It's been a couple of months since he's been in an actual race with James Stewart, but he sure hasn't forgotten much.
Well, and Stewart is totally dialed in at this point, really concentrating. I've been watching Ricky here. He's making little mistakes, like where he'd come into a turn and the front tire would maybe be 3 or 4 inches a little bit higher in the rut than what he wanted, and I've seen him have his feet off maybe a little more than what he wanted to. So at this point, if he's right on Stewart here at the end, I'm still going to be comfortable. I'm still going to be feeling good. And actually right now, he may be putting on a charge to take the lead here in the last quarter of a lap.
Here he comes. Carmichael making a run at Stewart. No doubt about it.
So now this is when the heart rates are really high. A lot of lactic acid built up in the muscles, a little bit of fatigue setting in, and you got the greatest of all time still pressuring you for this Moto win. This thing ain't over yet.
And these two just love racing each other. Boy, that battle in Orlando, that final night for Ricky in his Supercross career, was one of the most intense races I've ever seen. And this one, pretty outstanding in its own right on the final lap. Last few corners, riders getting out of the way. Here they come down the hill. The crowd on their feet.
One last charge. There's not a lot of room to pass here just before the finish.
Stewart to the checkered flag wins Moto #1 here at the Honda Hangtown Classic. Carmichael will finish second. They'll take a quick break and line him up for Moto #2. Big James and Rado right there to congratulate James Stewart. They even congratulate Ricky Carmichael. But James Stewart's the winner at Moto 1.
#1 in motorcycle insurance.
Speed's coverage of the 2007 AMA Toyota Motocross Championship from Sacramento is brought to you by Honda, the company that defines performance in motorcycles, ATVs, personal watercraft, and scooters. Do you live and breathe motorcycle racing? Now you can get the latest race results and news right on your phone with weekly green alerts from Speed. Text KX to 773333 on your mobile phone to receive free motorcycle racing text alerts. Speed Green Alerts presented by Kawasaki. Here's Aaron with third place, Tim Ferry.
Tim, congratulations on making the podium, the first national of this season. What does this do for your confidence?
It definitely feels good. It's I wasn't sure where I was at. You know, Supercross went good, and I haven't rode this Kawasaki yet outdoors, and it fell right in line with what I did in Supercross.
Here's our Toyota Trucks unofficial results from Moto #1. Kevin Windham ended up taking fourth. Alessi dropped all the way down to 8th. As you take a look all the way through the results, we head back down to the podium where Aaron's with Carmichael.
Well, to start off the season with a battle like that, unbelievable, kind of like the same thing we saw in Orlando at Supercross. Ricky, you're not very happy with your ride right now.
No, that was pitiful. You know, I've been struggling. I mean, James is riding good. I mean, if everything was perfect, it still would have been tough. But I didn't do myself any favors by crashing, and we're right at that breaking point. But you know, next moto should be good. I found some lines when I was behind him, and just frustrating, man. You know, falling. But obviously, some of that's probably for not racing in 2 months. But you know, we got to go back, regroup.
There are people that would give everything to ride that poorly, as Ricky Carmichael calls it, Jeff.
Yeah, that's just his way of doing things, the Kaizen way.
Here's James Stewart.
Well, James Stewart, meaning business here at the first National Hangtown. James, off to a rough start for you, though, having to make your way back all the way from 10th place.
Well, you know, I made a big bobble coming in the first corner. I got the whole shot and just kind of got kicked and went all the way off the track and probably went back to 10th, I think. And I knew I had to get around those guys, otherwise the race was going to be done. And I kind of got in and just settled in behind Ricky, which is kind of riding. And a little bit after halfway, I think a lap after halfway, I just threw down the hammer. I was able to get in front of him and then try to ride it out from there.
Now, with Ricky being gone for as long as he has and off from racing, were you surprised at all at how well he was riding here?
No, because, I mean, it's not like he's sitting at home eating potato chips this whole time. You know, I actually thought it was going to be harder to beat him because he's been off and fresh and wanting to race since Orlando. And we had, you know, another 7-8 races after that. So I knew it was going to be tough, you know, compared to having 2 months to 2 weeks. So we make a decision which one.
Way to start off the season. Good luck in the second moto.
Thank you.
All the riders on the track are AMA members. Are you? If not, call 1-800-AMA-JOIN or visit AMADirectLink.com. AMA, rights, riding, and racing. Now let's race into this week's interview with Ricky Carmichael.
This summer, I'm going to race the first 5 outdoor nationals. I'm going to take a break after Red Bud and just kind of switch gears. Going to race the X Games, Supercross at X Games. We will ride Millville. That'll be my last official outdoor national. And then Motocross the Nations, and that'll be my last race ever. It's hard, you know. It's really been tough lately because it's hard to do both 110%. So that's what I'm having a hard time with now, is just trying to juggle both. But I've been coping pretty good with it, and been able to drive the car quite a bit, you know, in my off time that I've had up until now. We're ahead of schedule, you know, I think I have what it takes. It just takes a lot of time, you know. That's, if I could explain it to anyone, that's the biggest thing, is it's a long process. So you have to have patience, and I've learned so much. The biggest thing I know is in the car is just learning that limit of when you're in control and when you're out of control, and learning how things work in a race situation rather than when you're just out there doing laps and practice and stuff. You know, I hope to you know, conquer my goals of stock car racing is really what I'm looking forward to. You know, I want to do really good in my motorcycle races this year and finish out strong. You know, I want to win 150 races. I'm at 146 now. So that's my goal for that. But when that's done, I'm ready to turn the page and start hitting it. You know, my life has changed a lot since March 16th there, the day before my last Supercross race. You know, with Ursula giving birth to our twin, boy and girl, it's, dude, it's a lot of work having, having 2 kids. But at the same time, when you're looking at the big picture, yeah, it's all worth it, man. I've really enjoyed riding this year and racing. I think just because I don't have the pressure, it's just, I'm out there for the love of it, and just really enjoyed it.
And we've all enjoyed watching Ricky over the years, and we get a few more rounds this season.
Well, and you know that every one of those rounds, he's going to give us everything that he has, just like he has every year.
We'll be right back to SAC. Welcome back to the Honda Hangtown Motocross Classic. Ralph Sheen alongside Jeff Emig. Let's check in with Aaron Bates with the Progressive Direct pre-race report.
If you take a look down the starting line, you're going to notice that the number 9 factory Makita Suzuki rider, Ivan Tedesco, is not racing here at the first national of this season. You can kind of consider it deja vu of his Supercross when he broke the bones in his hands right before the first race. This time, he gave himself a concussion the Tuesday right before this race. We caught up with team manager Roger DaCosta earlier this afternoon to find out what exactly happened and when we can expect his return.
Well, the bike is here, the rider is not here, unfortunately. Ivan crashed on Tuesday in practice and banged his head pretty good. And he saw a specialist, 2 different specialists actually, right after he did the crash on Tuesday, and then again on Thursday morning. And everything is fine with him, but the doctors recommended that he rest at least a week. So he probably will start riding again next week and then race at Southwick.
Getting ready for Moto number 2 from our Honda Skycam. Boy, Ivan just can't catch a break this year, can he?
No, he definitely has been starting every one of these championships in a hole, and he has definitely missed here today.
There's Kyle Partridge giving us this onboard view. You saw Grant Langston on the 8. And Davi Millsaps on the 118 has the early lead.
And you can see by the onboard there was so much roost coming off. That's why you want to get that hole shot, stay nice and clean, keep your goggles clean, because they throw down quite a bit of water in between the motos. So right now the track's going to be pretty hard on the bottom, a lot of wet stuff on top.
There's Andrew Short in the 29. He just gave up second place to Ricky Carmichael. Here comes Stewart on the outside on the Kawasaki number 7.
Definitely trying to take advantage of staying out of those bumps. You see Stewart going way wide. The beginning of the second moto here as Stewart makes the pass on Short for 3rd. You see there's so much water down, but rider's going to be a little more tentative here at the beginning of this moto to find out where the track's wet, where it's slippery. They do get a parade lap. And on that parade lap, they have a chance to check out all of the lines, see where the water's down, where the wet spots are, but it's still, once you're in the competition here, got to take it a little easy on this first lap.
Tim Ferry is running up with this group as well. Tail end on the number 15 Kawasaki, James Stewart's teammate. So Stewart already reeling in Carmichael.
Definitely putting on a charge. Looks like we got another great battle brewing between these two, but Davi Millsaps out front with that hole shot. It's a great way to start this second moto for him.
And Millsaps, such a bigger rider in stature than these two. How much of an advantage is that on the 450?
Well, I'm not sure that it's any advantage these days. Maybe back in the 70s it was, but Carmichael is one of the smaller, more compact riders. You know, look at all of the success that he has. James Stewart, extremely fit, but he's not very tall, not very heavy. As you can see, look how shiny some of that is. There's a lot of water down on those rollers. And the thing about the second moto here at Hangtown is that there's a lot of square edge bumps on the track, and you can see the bikes just bouncing around, the suspension having to work so hard right now. Watch as they come down this G-out. See the front suspension completely collapsing on the 118 Honda there of Davi Millsaps.
Talking about his size, 6'2", 190 for Davi Millsaps, and Ricky Carmichael about half that size.
Yeah, Carmichael's around 150, 155 pounds. I don't know what his stated height is, but it's definitely not 6'2".
Yeah, but if Ricky stands on top of all the records he's compiled, he's like the Empire State Building.
Yeah, he's more like 50 feet or 100 feet. Right there, that's the corner where Carmichael fell the first moto. Lines are kind of changing. Track's going to be really tough this moto. Like I said, a lot of square edges coming up and a lot of rocks. It's definitely more hard packed now and wetter than what it was in the first moto when I said the track was in great condition. Now it's really tough.
You know, speaking of records, that's what James Stewart, who runs in third as we watch our Tundra cam go by, he's chasing after records now. He won that Supercross championship, the AMA title, and one thing he had never done, he really wants to start racking up titles and wins. Here comes Carmichael inside of Millsaps. So Ricky's got the lead. What I was going to say is by the time James gets done with his career, and we stand him on his records and Ricky on his records, they might be the Twin Towers.
Well, the Twin Towers, and you also have to count in Jeremy McGrath there with the 7 Supercross championships. So Carmichael right now, 10 motocross championships. McGrath at 7. Stewart has definitely got his work cut out for him if he wants to be on top of either one of those.
Well, he's got on top of Davi Millsaps now. He's taking second away from him. It is going to be something to watch to see where James Stewart is at the tail end of his career, because, well, you look at it now and the potential is just unbelievable.
And what was unbelievable also is right when Stewart made that pass, he was going through that right-handed sweeper where all them deep, gnarly ruts were. In the middle of that turn, in the middle of those ruts, I seen him reach up and grab a tear off to clean the goggles off.
We're going to be right back to Hangtown after this.
It's huge.
Did you miss any AMA racing action? Want to relive the excitement? Watch all the 2007 AMA Supercross and Superbike events on Speed On Demand online, and it's all free, courtesy of Yamaha. So log on now to speedtv.com, keyword Yamaha, and get up to speed. A lot of encouragement for Ricky Carmichael. Did you watch him on Honda Sky Cam?
And the interesting thing here, Carmichael is making his 123rd consecutive MX start. He's never missed a motocross event since he started racing. That's another record that I don't know if anyone is going to be able to top.
David Vuillemin on the number 12, battling with Mike Alessi on the KTM.
I love watching Vuillemin ride the motocross here. He's got such an interesting style and technique, and when you get to some of these off-camber turns, as Mike Alessi takes the position back, he just has this very European style of riding the bike, and I think it's a real joy to watch.
Rider out of France. Made a good living and a good life racing motocross and supercross here in the States.
Another rider making a good living is Mike Alessi here, number 18 on the Red Bull KTM, making the transition from the lights class in Supercross to riding the motocross class, the 450 machine here outdoors. And I think he's trying to relive some of that success that he had when he first turned professional and he came up to ride the motocross class. And maybe to capitalize on it, and lights could be a thing of his past. He's doing pretty well in the motocross here.
They got Grant Langston reeling them in on the number 8 Yamaha.
So could we have some fireworks that we've seen before between Langston and Alessi if they get together?
Could be, because he's getting around David Vuillemin, and now he'll set after Mike Alessi.
All the motocross fans will remember at the finish line when Grant Langston came in on Mike Alessi. That was 2 seasons ago at the opening round here, and it was for the overall. Langston got together with Alessi. Alessi went down. Langston won the race, but his left foot and his left ankle was broken. His toes were facing left. It was a pretty gruesome injury, but he took the win, and that's the type of racer that Grant Langston is.
Well, as you can see from our motocross.com field summary, these two riders battling over 6th position. Alessi holds it right now, and here comes Langston charging hard.
Langston's had such a sporadic season. It's like the races that he showed up, he's been pretty successful, but he's just had some odd injuries and odd things happen that have kept him out of being consistently at the races each and every week.
Came back real late in the Supercross season. Showed some speed.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, at the races that he participated in, he was really good. But when you're kind of battling through little nagging injuries and you're missing a week here or there, it's so tough to find that rhythm and really gain the consistency.
Alessi took a quick look to his right. Oh, and Mike is right off course.
He took a look to his right there after he missed one of the camera guys that were there, but he just got a little wide. That Byrne there on the outside is just starting to give way. And we'll take a look at the replay here. Alessi looks over, knows the pass is made, so he's going to try to get on the throttle a little early. Just blows off the side of the track.
Tim Ferry battling with Andrew Short. Short on the 29 Honda. Whoa, and those two almost come together.
And that was a nice move Ferry made there. He made his turn early at the top of the off-camber, really accelerated into it, took the position.
So move Tim Ferry to 4th. We move to break, but we're coming back to Sacramento.
128.
Next month on Unique Whips, Pam Anderson is known for getting things fired up, but now it's Will's crew's turn to get Pam's engine started with an all-star ride. It's a huge episode of Unique Whips, June 27th at 10 Eastern, and only on Speed. James Stewart has a lot of nice rides. He's got a pretty good one going here today.
But I do notice a problem. Look at his helmet there, Ralph. He does not have his goggles on right now for some reason.
He has slipped back to 3rd. Davi Millsaps is up to 2nd. Ricky Carmichael is in the lead still.
Nice, comfortable lead at this point. If Stewart has dropped back to the 3rd position, that's going to leave a huge lead for Ricky Carmichael.
Carmichael made the statement to Aaron after the first moto that he didn't feel like he rode very well, even though he finished in 2nd right behind Stewart. Based on what you're seeing in his style here, do you think he's riding better in Moto 2?
Well, I think just like always, Carmichael and Makita Suzuki have probably made some changes to the bike. What that's going to do is, okay, let's fix those things. That's going to help my confidence. It's going to help my psyche and all that. And right now, it looks as though Stewart must have made a mistake somewhere along the line. It's a nice, comfortable lead for Carmichael, and that definitely is going to help his confidence and definitely help his attitude after the event. He's going to be much happier.
Of course, everybody's going to start wondering if Carmichael comes out of here at the top of the point standings, looking at an overall win here at the season opener. He gets to the end of those first 6 outdoor races, and he's got the points lead. Would he continue to the end of the year? And I don't think he will.
No, I don't think so. And He's already stated that earlier this season. He showed us that he's going to be competitive in the Supercross Championship, be there winning races. But when my cutoff time comes, I'm going home. I will not be at the next event, and very unfortunate for the fans.
How tough is it for James Stewart? You talked about all the roost. He's riding, trying to hold on to third. He's got his teammate right on his tail and no goggles.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough when they catch the lappers. Also, the wind coming in your helmet and some of the high-speed spots going to make your eyes water. Right now, this is really tough to do what James Stewart's doing.
We should also mention as Ferry comes right up alongside, but treats his teammate with a lot of respect, doesn't he? Look at that.
Not too much there. Definitely want to take the position, and you can see all those rocks coming up the hill. Stewart's definitely going to be conscious of that, and that's almost an impossible task to ride behind a 450 right now with no goggles.
James did say he's seen big picture this whole season. He's not going to let this thing go away with just one race. He knows Ricky's not going to be here for the whole season. Ricky on his final lap. We should also mention this is the first race James has not had his longtime mechanic Jeremy Albrecht with him.
Yeah, Jeremy Albrecht has left Team Kawasaki to go work for Gibbs Motorsports, is starting a Supercross motocross race team, and so maybe a little chemistry change there. We'll see how this plays out the rest of the summer.
Ricky Carmichael going to put the number 4 on the top step of the podium one more time here in Hangtown. This will be his 5th Hangtown win as he makes his way down the hill to the cheers of the crowd.
And the crowd is definitely responding. Just amazing for him to come back and win the overall again.
Ricky Carmichael wins the Honda Hangtown Classic. We'll be right back to talk to him.
SpeedTV.com.
Everything you would a curtain raiser for the outdoor season.
Well, it definitely is, and what a pleasure it is to have Carmichael back in this Stewart-Carmichael battle. We've seen some great rides out of Millsaps, Ferry, Langston, Short. Going to be a great summer.
Here's Aaron with third place Tim Ferry.
Tim, your hands are absolutely torn up from blisters right now. How gnarly are the conditions on the track?
They were pretty tough. It was, you know, they were talking about making the track maybe a little smoother, and that wasn't smooth. And that was some old school motocross, but it was good. And you know, I think everybody feels exactly the same way. I think I'm not alone with my hand problem.
Davi Millsaps finished second in Moto 2. He takes 4th overall as you see our Toyota overall results. So a good afternoon for Davi Millsaps. Good way to kick off his outdoor season. Here he is, standing by in the podium area with Aaron Bates once again. Let's head there now.
Not only did he pull off a whole shot, he also managed to make his way up onto the podium for Moto number 2. Davi came back swing in the second Moto. What made the difference?
You know, first Moto went really good. I didn't get a really good start, but you know, I worked up to 5th, and the second Moto I got a whole shot, and it's a lot easier when you get the whole shot.
Well, the stock car racer came back to run a little motocross and ends up winning the curtain raiser to the 2007 season. Unbelievable. Ricky Carmichael didn't lose much, did he, while he was away for a short period of time? Here's the points. He's even got a 4-point lead now on James Stewart as we head off to the next round at Mount Morris, Pennsylvania. Here's Ricky with Aaron.
Well, a much happier Ricky Carmichael up here on the podium after his second Moto. Ricky, would you say that today's second Moto came down to conditioning?
It definitely helped. I don't know what happened to James. I think he fell down, and then I don't know what happened, but I can tell you that I knew it was going to be brutal, and the only way I knew how to win was just to go out and ride my hardest, and it's hard to do that on a 4-stroke, but I put my head down in fitness. Eldon Baker, as you can see with Ben Townley, we're on a good program, and there isn't anyone out there in better shape for sure.
You guys had also made some modifications to the bike in between motos. What did you guys fix, and how much did it help you out?
We changed a couple things on the engine. Suspension, we didn't change much. We were just, I don't think anything works perfect on this track, and just super pumped, dude, to get a win and to win in that fashion. I'm really happy.
Jeff, Ricky really improved between Moto 1 and Moto 2 to take the overall. James, however, went the other direction, and it cost him the big win here today.
Well, it cost him the win, and I think some of the fans or some of the people on the sidelines will say, okay, Stewart's going to look at the big picture here. He doesn't have to beat Carmichael to win the championship, but you know Stewart does not like getting beat. He wants to go beat Carmichael every one of these races that he can.
He'll get a shot at Mount Morris in Pennsylvania. You'll see it here on Speed June 10th at 6 p.m. For Aaron Bates and Jeff Emig, I'm Ralph Shaheen. So long from Sacramento. Hangtown goes to Carmichael.